So as we begin our Lenten practices, today's readings give us a couple of choices, lay choices before us. And one is to follow God's laws and commands or not. The other choice is to pick up our crosses and follow Jesus or not. God doesn't force us one way or the other. He leaves it up to our free will to make these choices. It's up to us to make those choices. So let's look at the first one, to follow God's commands and laws. That first reading from Deuteronomy, Moses is talking to the Israelites. They're about to leave him. He's like 120 years old. He's not allowed to go into the promised land, but he's giving them a last talk, and he says, get off the fence. Follow the commands that God has given us or don't. And if you follow those commands, you're going to choose life and you'll have prosperity. If you choose not to follow those commands, you're choosing death and doom. And then he encourages them to choose to follow God's commands. And then in our responsorial psalm, Psalm number 1, how cool is that? And then in there it says to choose to follow God's laws. And those that follow God's laws are like trees that are planted near running streams that bear fruit in due season. They flourish and do well. Ones that choose not to follow God's laws, they're like chaff that's blown away from the wind. So if you think of a wheat stalk, has seeds at the top. So once you take the seeds out, what's left is chaff. It dries up and it blows away. It's nothing. And so, again, those two choices there, we're encouraged to, both those readings, follow God's commands and choose to follow his laws, to be just, not to be wicked. And the choice is up to us. Of course, we're encouraged to follow them. And then the other choice we're given is to pick up our crosses and follow Jesus. Now imagine yourself, a first century person there, whether Jew or Greek or Christian. You see crosses all the time. You see bodies dying on crosses. You see bodies rotting on crosses. And the thought of picking up a cross and following Jesus has got to be revolting. It's a very difficult concept to take on board. But what Jesus is talking about is to deny ourselves and follow Jesus, to do what Jesus does, watching out for other people, helping others all the time. And it's putting our neighbor ahead of ourselves. So it's dying to ourselves so that we can follow Jesus in his ways. And it's not easy. It's very difficult. And so Jesus gives us the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit gives us the courage and the strength to follow Jesus' ways, to do what Jesus did, okay? To deny ourselves and help others, put others ahead of ourselves. And so today, I'll give you a little imaginary exercise as we continue or just starting on our Lenten journey here. Imagine for the next, the whole time of Lent that Jesus is walking with us. A couple of steps ahead of us. We're a little bit behind. And our feet steps match with his feet steps just behind him. And following in his ways means doing the kind of things that he did. Loving others, helping others, praying for others. Okay? And always keep in mind that we're not given crosses that we can't bear. That he always gives us the Holy Spirit to give us the strength so we can bear any cross that we have in our lives.